Hey y'all, J-Town here, and today we're doing a build guide on Margarita. If you have started on Global and played every day, you are on the verge of getting your free copy of Margarita. If you're lucky enough to pull her already, you know how just amazing she can be. Margarita is the embodiment of the phrase, if looks could kill, because she looks good, and she will kill you. She's also intoxicating and pairs well with tacos. Margarita is the queen of direct AoE damage, and to know how to build her, we gotta look at her skills. But before that, I need you guys to do me a solid. Hit the subscribe button right down there. Shows me you guys are liking the content and I can do more builds like this in the future. Thank you. Our A1 deals 100% attack damage to a single enemy twice and gains 1 layer of blade. Well, what is blade? When you build enough stacks of blade, Margarita will cast Blade Dance. We'll look at that in a moment. You can scale this up to be 140% attack damage. Her A2 Blade Striker deals 420% attack damage to a single enemy and gains 2 layers of blade. You can get this up to 540% attack damage and bring it down to a 3-turn cooldown. Her passive Counterattack command is when she has 6 layers of blade, she consumes all layers and deals 200% attack damage to all enemies. If you get this skilled up, it brings it down to only needing 4 layers of blade to deal that damage to all enemies. And then Blade Dance deals 3 stages of 100% attack damage to all enemies and gains 3 more layers of blade. You can bring this down to a 4-turn cooldown and increase it up to 130% attack damage. So basically with each of her skills, she's going to get layers of blade. When she builds up enough layers of blade, passive will also deal 200% attack damage to all enemies. By skilling her up, you bring it down to only needing to be 4 layers. So you can see she can ramp up the AoE damage very quickly. Now if you're lucky enough to get her exclusive weapons, she becomes by far the undisputed AoE direct damage queen. At exclusive level 1, which if you've already pulled a copy, you're going to get this based on the free copy. And if you're just about to get your free copy of Margarita, it's definitely one you want to consider putting one of those exclusive weapon legendary eyes on. So exclusive level 1 is the kicker, because it makes Blade Dance have 4 attack stages and gain an additional layer of blade. So let's take a second and go back and look at Blade Dance. This is the one that makes her do all those layers of blade immediately, getting that bonus. So in a single turn, she's going to be casting just a ton. If she starts with Blade Dance, she'll immediately gain the 4 stacks of blade. If you've skilled her up, she will then immediately counterattack command for another attack damage. So this will clear waves. This will decimate an arena. Now if you were to get lucky enough to have more copies and go further down the exclusive weapon line, counterattack command, whenever it goes off, it increases all allies crit damage by 30% for a single turn. And then the next one increases the damage of counterattack command by 30%. So all of her exclusive weapons tie into the same one thing, which is just mega AoE. So say you've got her all the way at EW3. Basically, she casts her ultimate skill, which does a crap load of direct AoE damage. She gets 4 layers of blade, so she instantly then releases counterattack command, which increases all her allies crit damage by 30%. But the counterattack command itself is increased by 30%. You speed tune her to go first, she can wipe out an entire wave, if not outright kill them all or an arena team, but then also buff the rest of her team to come through with another AoE damage and finish them off. Margarita is one of those heroes you definitely want to be in your team. If you're doing direct damage, you need some AoE, you want to look at Margarita. Alright, so now we know what she does. That tells us how we need to build her. Margarita doesn't have to land any kind of debuffs. She's strictly going to be damage and giving her team a 1-turn bonus to their crit damage. So we want her to hit hard and go fast. Now, like all other heroes, depending where you are in progression, you want to give her some sustain. She's going to be leeching a lot to sustain by hitting everything, so that's a very good investment. So I've got her in the Fearless set, which had crit and leech, just because of the availability of what I had. But when you've progressed enough to where you no longer need her to leech for the sustain, you've got other auras or healers in your team, a lot of defense, then I would 100% put her in the Slay set, crit rate and crit damage. The reason why I say that over the Wild set, which can also be good, is because the amount of bonus you're getting from a set, especially if you do a double 2-piece of that, so you have 4 pieces of Slay set, that's 30% crit damage and 30% crit rate just in your set bonuses, which frees you up for the substats on the gear to be focusing on attack percent, more crit damage, speed, and crit rate or HP. If you got her Awaken 1 artifact, you can put crit rate or crit damage, depending on which one you need more of. Speed on her A5, And then I've gone with effect resist on this because the stats that come, the main stats on here, it's either effect hit, effect resist, healing, or flat stats. Effect resist so that she can have a better chance of resisting those controls and whatnot. So the Slay set is your go-to if you don't need her to leech, but then the Fearless, Bloodthirsty leech sets if you need her to possibly be a carry through progression. All we want to do is make her go fast, hit hard, and crit. Pretty straightforward. Now we'll look at her emblems, right? The beefy part of the build. Right, so the build that I've gone with for Margarita is using the attack tree and the defense tree. We're not using the support tree because she does not land any kind of buff or debuff on any of her enemies. So we don't need any kind of hit effect. She's not going to gain any of these bonuses for applying anything like that. And the only thing really useful in this tree would be Magic Touch for a chance at reducing the cooldown on a skill and speed. So she's going to be better served by the attack and defense trees. Primarily the attack tree, which should be obvious. You can take a screenshot here on the left side here. That's the tree you want to go with. That's what the build will look like. We're always taking the 4.5% crit rate. Taking unexpected attack so she can deal more damage when her HP is full. Especially if she's going at the beginning, or if you've got any kind of leech stain on her, then she'll likely always be doing this extra damage. Always want shield slam so she can rip those shields off things, especially if you're trying to progress. A lot of things have shields. It's nice to have somebody who can just rip through those. Then we're taking Arrogant. So before the end of the first turn of each wave, damage dealt to 9%. If she's your lead-off wave clearer or in the arena, it's just 9% more damage to it. And then 12% more direct damage on the next turn for every target killed. So she's heavy AoE. She probably cleared the wave for you. She's going to come into the next wave just doing more damage. And then strength build up when she's got a buff. You should be using buffers on your team. Just a little bit more damage there. And then Victory Rush. For anybody who's under control, if you're running a controller on your team, which a lot of people should, there are some pretty good controllers, 9% more damage. And then Brave Enemies. If you're progressing, you're going to be fighting a lot of things with a lot more HP than you, 6% more damage. New Lease of Life. When things are less than half health, her direct damage goes up. This helps her finish things off. It's huge for the entire second half of a guild boss fight. And then obviously the crit damage 24% because you want her to deliver some big AoE crits. In the defense tree, you have some options here. You can go multiple ways depending on where you primarily use her. And I'll tell you what I've chosen and why, and what you could also do. I've taken the defense here just because it works no matter what, so take a little bit less damage. You could go here, but I'm going to take effect resistance on other places, so I get more value from the defense. If I'm not fighting against controllers or daughters, it's going to be less effective. I've taken this because she'll reflect some damage back, just another source of that outgoing damage, because the dots, I can cleanse those off, and if I'm not fighting anything that dots me, I'm not going to get any use. And then healed effect, yes, she could be healed more, but I'm going to be running shields a lot, and she's going to be leeching. And then on these two, I don't take these two as much, because these two skills are dependent on allies dying, and if I'm building my team correctly, I'm not really planning on my team to die. Whereas No Fear, she has some effect resistance on the beginning. So if you're fighting an arena and you get outsped by a controller, you have a better chance to resist. On the next tier, you can make arguments for other things, but I'm not going to be building her with a whole lot of defense. This helps lessen crit when your HP is higher than 50%, but when below 50%, you're getting no value from it. I've gone with 12% control resist, so in arena fights or against certain things with resistance, once again, you know, we keep coming back to that chance to not be controlled, so she can constantly be dishing out the damage. And then the next year I've taken grittiness, so she gets 9% less damage taken, and then it diminishes as it goes on. You could argue for this, where she just gets a little bit of healing going through the waves, but if you've got any sort of leech on her from either the gear sets or the passive percentage leech that you get from having heroes in the sanctuary, you'll have that. This, I don't take this very often. It's assuming you're going to get just a big crushing hit where she takes 25% damage. You can heal back 9% of that, but that means you're still taking 16% damage. I just feel that the grittiness is more value. So that's where we're going to go. These are definitely what you want to take in the attack tree. And these, you have some options there on the defense tree, just kind of how you want to build her for what scenarios you have her in. You have her in your progression team. She's primarily just in arena for you. And then once again, if you've made it to hell difficulty and you're going into auras, you're going to be starting here with the green auras. A great option is brutal recovery, because there's a great chance she's going to be inflicting the kills. Or you can do pristine attack aura, so her A1 has more crit rate. And once you moved up into the blue auras, I really like Victory Rush aura on her because it increases her direct damage, which is all she does. She is the queen of AoE direct damage. So getting those big wave clearing hits to hit even harder is great. You can make an argument for extra recovery aura, which is absolutely fantastic. Or if you need the crit rate and you haven't gotten enough crit rate from your other sources in your gear, you can take this one. And it's doubled when you're in campaign. So if you need somebody who's going to help you push in a campaign, you can definitely use her with this campaign boost aura. Alright, so let's look at her in action. So we'll start off with the blade dance, right? Which hits all those enemies and gains her those layers of blade. Look at that, just massive AoE damage. She's gotten the 3 stacks of blade. Now note, she does not carry those stacks of blade with her into the next wave. Alright, so here we're going to show you what happens when she unleashes both the A4 and the counterattack bonus damage all in one swoop. We A1 to give her that initial stack. We're going to unleash this. She's going to get the additional 3 to make the 4, and you'll see this skill hit, and then just additional more damage, which she leached a ton from right there. Just massive damage, and this is in hell difficulty. You can see, even without all the exclusives on her, she is a massive damage dealer, right? This is hell 5-9. That's incredible. So just imagine that with those exclusives on her and other team buffers, right? Margarita is the AoE direct damage queen. Alright, so if you picked up your free copy of Margarita, or you're about to, get ready, because it's going to be one beautiful hell of a ride. Alright guys, I'm J-Town. I will see you in game.
Infinite Magic Raid. Play to slay.